If you pay good money to prepare for and lay turf, then obviously you're going to be concerned about laying it in the best conditions. So let's talk about laying turf in winter versus summer and everything in between. Yes, g'day and welcome to a new video. We're going to start off here today on my new iron cutter front lawn. So this is a type of hybrid Bermuda or cooch. It's got a beautiful fine leaf on it, and man, I cannot wait to get to work on it. And I say I can't wait to get to work on it because this lawn was laid right around 2 months ago, the day before the winter solstice, June the 20th. And to this point, I have not done a single thing to it since that day. So with that, let's talk about pros and cons of laying turf in winter. Starting with some pros, some benefits of doing it at this time of year. For me, in doing this project, I did it late autumn and into winter at a time of the year when I had time, before we had a baby that was due to be born. And that's something you've just got to do with projects sometimes, is do it when you do have time. Now, if I had have done majority of the project and then just left the soil bare instead of putting turf down, it just would have led to a lot of erosion and tons of weeds coming up into the soil. And probably the biggest positive is the fact that I have not used any water on here at all, except for the day we laid it. But even then, the soil underneath was damp. Turf rolls turned up damp from recent rain as well. The advice from Nathan from My Home Turf was to give it a water just to let it all settle down a little bit, which I did on that day. But since then, 2 months with new turf, have not watered it at all. We've been getting consistent rainfall throughout winter. And look, if all goes to plan, I know that this soil is really well hydrated. And so as we move into spring in 2 weeks' time, if we can still be getting some nice rainfall throughout there, get some nice hot weather, because within the next 6 weeks, we're going to be getting, by the end of September, surely at least 130-degree day that we normally get in September, mixed in with those nice mid-20s and everything. So if that can happen, hopefully these roots can shoot down, the lawn can establish with very, very minimal water. And so then with that said, one of the definite cons is the fact that establishment period is quite drawn out. And so you can see here, there's a spot where it's obviously very wet and we've had a little bit of, it's just quite soggy in that area, not looking great. A spot here where it's looking a little bit green and sad in there. And also because there's no roots and life in this soil, it is quite squishy in a lot of spots. Oh yeah, that's one. And yeah, as I said, it's been down 2 months and we're not seeing any root establishment just yet. Jeez, it is so wet under there. And so I guess depending on any issues you may get, whether it's lots and lots of rain that sits on the turf and causes rot or anything like that. We've had consistent rain, but not big rain this winter. So yeah, it probably does leave yourself open to more issues, being a really prolonged establishment period. And what sort of adds into that as well, which is not really a good reason, but it's just impatience, because you lay out this new turf and you just want to mow it, look after it, and get it looking its best. And so across social media platforms, I've seen the odd comment about it not being ideal, and that's something that I made very obvious when I was doing this project, was that no, this is not optimal, perfect timing to lay lawn. But for me, in my scenario, my personal scenario with getting this job done, the baby being born, etc., it's worked out really, really well. And at this stage, 2 weeks till spring, promising signs of warming temperatures and all that sort of stuff. From my scenario here, can definitely recommend it if you're in a similar situation. And so now let's go have a look at the buffalo. Now, considering it's been a pretty harsh winter for frosts, and this is what the Prestige Buffalo looked like this morning, it's looking pretty good, and it's definitely hanging out for some warmer weather and some granular fertilizer. Some granular fertilizer this lawn. Really looking forward to getting a full reno in here and showing that process. Yeah, probably early October. But this buffalo lawn here, it was laid on the 2nd of December. So the second day of summer last year. And last season I absolutely put it through its paces with top dressing, and I had the opposite problem as the front lawn out the back here. The fact that it was really quite hot through November when I was doing my turf prep and the irrigation and that kind of thing. And so through that process, there was a bit of compaction just with the machine when I brought all the soil in as well. And yeah, some baking hot days that made the soil actually quite firm and dry. So yeah, opposite issues in the end. And with January, February being our hottest months, it meant that the lawn was only sort of between 4 and 10 to 12 weeks old in that period, where it was really, we had some quite extreme heat days last summer as well, which is obviously stress and difficulty trying to get the lawn properly established in a different way. But in terms of getting this lawn to establish, that was one of the benefits, especially being a warm season grass type here, is that putting it down when the soil temps were high, when there was nice heat in the air, and I was getting enough water onto it, was that it established and it rooted down to the soil really quickly. And so after about 3 weeks from memory, I was mowing it. Probably would have been sooner, but I was cutting this and do cut this at about 60 millimeters, so a nice tall cut. If it was being maintained at 20 or 25, it would have been a lot sooner. But in that sense, I was able to get this beautiful lawn down. Imperfections that were there from the laying and the prep, I was able to do top dressing the day after I laid it, actually, for a bit of a project, and it was fine. Whereas on the flip side, I'm looking at some of the bumps and imperfections out the front there, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to get some sandy loam over the top of that, top dress it, fix it up, mow it, you know, whereas straight away out here, I could get to work. And so for laying the lawn at the start of summer, there was issues then that I had to be vigilant. I had to be looking out for little corners of the turf rolls that were drying out. Watering, I was from memory watering 3 or 4 times a day for about 5 to 10 minutes, whereas my maintenance watering out here is about, in the heat of summer, 45 minutes a week. So I was probably doing like 2 or 3 hours of watering a week, so a fair amount. And yeah, don't talk to the Dale about the water bill from last season. So ultimately, as a lawn lover who wants to put a lawn down and get to work on it, spring, summer, quick establishment is the most ideal. When it comes to thinking about watering, you know, if you do happen to get it down at a cooler time of year where there's less evaporation, there's more rainfall, and you don't really need to be irrigating, that is, yeah, a massive positive in my eyes. And so what is ideal? What's absolutely optimal? Well, for me here in my climate, southeast Victoria, around about start of spring, on a typical spring where we do get that mixture of nice, you know, 25 plus degree days, but still some of those milder days, 18, 19 degrees, where the evaporation factor is very low. That's a great time of year to get it out, for the lawn to be able to establish itself. There's nice rainfall. You're not having to be as vigilant with, you know, 30, 35 plus degree days that are going to cause issues, and you can sort of get it down and ease into the season. But that's in a perfect world, and I don't live in a perfect world, and you probably don't either. And so ultimately, especially in Australian climates where we're not getting the extremes of snow and things like that, that, you know, when you've got the time is going to be probably the best time. And hopefully it gives you something to be aware of if you do end up laying in winter or around winter, is that you might see some damage and, you know, have some issues or more issues to fix up when it comes to spring. If it is summer, late spring, etc., you might have to be extra vigilant with watering dry spots and that sort of thing. So definitely don't lay your turf and then go away for a month. But in any case, it's going to be fine. Just briefly, in terms of selecting a lawn variety, so buffalo for me in this section works perfectly because it's a little bit difficult to access from the shed with cylinder mowers and things like that, and I just want here a nice long cut lush lawn to go alongside the fire pit and this beautiful garden. The back lawn here is just existing native kaiku that I'm cylinder mowing. Generally keep it between 20 to 25 mil, and I'm really happy with that. And then out on the front lawn, I wanted to have a beautiful hybrid couch that I could cut nice and low. Maybe get a little sneaky putting green out there at some stage. But yeah, in a beautiful, open, full sun position where I can, yeah, get all of my equipment in there and everything. Yeah, that's the perfect choice for out the front there. So definitely recommend speaking to your local turf farm to talk through your goals with your lawn, how you are looking to maintain it, what your shade and sun exposure, all those kind of things are like, to get the right type for you. And yeah, whether your laying turf soon, or you're just going to keep this video in the memory bank for, you know, future years. Either way, all the best with it. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.